Hi, my name is Josh Doyle, user ID JOD32, and I'm going to talk about my CS24110 assignment. So, we were tasked with writing an algorithm that would automatically enhance an input image, and it had to enhance an image with no user input from anyone whatsoever. So, in effect, we had to write an algorithm that would sort of a one-size-fits-all improve any image and have good effects on any image regardless of what it was. Now, to tackle this, I decided to use three techniques, the main ones being a brightness and contrast adjustment, because I figured that would give the best results overall for a wide range of image, and I also added a noise reduction filter in there as well. So my method was to first things first, after you got the input image, was to apply a noise removal filter across the whole image. Then, once the noise removal filter had been applied, increase the brightness of the image. Then, on the increased brightness image, adjust the contrast, and then output the final image. Now, for my noise removal, I decided to use a 3x3 filter kernel, and I did that because a larger kernel gave too much of a blurring effect. It actually probably blurred the image, and I didn't want a blurred image. I just wanted an image that had a very slight blur in order to remove any noise. So each pixel within the kernel is weighted at 1/9, which means that the center point of the kernel takes the value of the average of all pixels within the kernel, i.e. the center pixel, if it had an extremely outlying value, then that would be averaged out within the kernel. The filter is applied to the whole image, except a 1 pixel border around the outside. I figured with it being such a small filter, you wouldn't be able to tell that the 1 pixel border around the outside hadn't been filtered, so that was fine. Now onto the brightness increase. The reason I did a brightness increase was because a lot of the test images had a lot of shadow in them. The idea was, if I applied a brightness increase, it would bring out some of the detail in those darker areas of the image. Now, to increase the brightness, I first converted to the HSV colour space. The reason I did that was because if you stayed in RGB and just increased the intensity values of each channel, then you'd end up with a really washed out effect, and it would affect the actual colour of the image, which I didn't want to do. So I converted to HSV, and then for every pixel within the image, increased the value of the V channel, brightness channel, by 10%. And you can see in this formula here, the output image is essentially what I did was for each pixel in the input image, I times the V channel by 1.1, which is a 10% increase. And then once you've done that, you just convert back to RGB, and you've got a brighter image. Now, for the contrast adjustment, I used histogram manipulation, and I found the threshold values using a cumulative histogram. I used, for the threshold, I used the top and bottom 0.005% of the histogram, which is the same value that Photoshop uses in its default auto enhance. So I figured that was a good value to use if Photoshop uses it. Once those threshold values have been found, any pixels in the image that are above that the highest threshold value are set to 255, and any pixels below the lower threshold value are set to 0. And then on every pixel in between, this mapping function is applied. and what that does is essentially just stretches out the histogram of the image to make sure that the whole range of colour, of intensity is used throughout the image, which it has the effect of automatically adjusting the contrast. So now I'm going to go through all the test images and show their effects. Now, although I think my method is pretty good, it generally produces nice output images, it was quite easy to implement, and it computes fairly quickly. There are one or two undesirable effects produced by the method. The first being some unnatural colour changes. Now, you will have seen with image number 3 that the colour was completely changed. Obviously, that is usually not what you want with an auto enhancement. That's the place for more stylistic filters. So I think that would be considered an undesirable output in terms of this filter. Also, the auto contrast adjustment often produces overly dark regions where there is shadow in the image, and I think if I was tackling this again, maybe I would swap around the order that the brightness increase and the contrast adjustment were applied, and maybe have a selective brightness increase that takes into account any really dark parts of the image. Maybe it just increases the brightness of those. But I think overall my implementation is quite effective, and definitely for image 5 it seemed to produce a lot of nice effects.